most of those today. All right. So Garth, there we go. Okay, I wanted to give you a little bit of background about the company itself. EWSNetwork was founded 11 years ago. We celebrated our 11th anniversary in October, and we're now in over 110 locations and in over 60 cities. We work with 25 wellness consultants, or maybe a little bit more now, and a few more strategic affiliates, and that refers to professionals that we work with in the communities that we serve. Our average client engagement rate for on-site programs is over 85%. So that simply means that people who are working with the companies that we have are engaging in our programs in some way quite a lot. We have been the recipient for different awards, but most recently we were awarded the Health and Wellness Program of the Year Award with Benefits Canada, as well as their Engagement Award. We were one of the finalists for their Communication Award, as well as their Strategic Partnership Award, which we happened to win the year before. So we're getting recognized in the corporate wellness industry, and that is hugely satisfying to us. If you're still asking yourself why a corporate wellness program is necessary, perhaps these Canadian statistics will help you understand what we're facing. When we look at 60% of Canadians that are currently overweight or obese, that's pretty alarming. Obese employees are absent on average about 13 times more than non-obese employees, and they incur about 36% higher medical claims cost. So that in itself is alarming. And then we look at physically inactive Canadians. 53% is a pretty high statistic. On average, Canadian adults are sedentary 9.5 hours a day, and that is 9.5 hours of our waking day. So the trendy topic right now when we think of physically inactive adults, we're terming it sitting disease. Next on that list is high cholesterol. 80% of Canadians are experiencing that. And next on the list is stress. 23% of Canadians are experiencing high life stress. We're becoming really aware of the impact of this in the workplace and in our culture, and really feel that it's not a matter of getting over it anymore. We need to be proactive and careful about how we manage our stress over time, or it can lead to mental health issues. Next on that list is high blood pressure. We have 20% of Canadians experiencing that, and 17% of Canadians are still smoking. And last but not least is diabetes at 8% of Canadians, and that number seems to be growing every year. So really some important statistics to be aware of in Canada. 75% of our healthcare costs are a direct result of unhealthy lifestyles. When we think of factors like obesity or poor eating habits, physical inactivity, and smoking, they're all responsible for the vast majority of our health risks and those associated costs. So besides how a wellness program makes people feel, we need to face the fact that health care costs are really eating into your bottom line. So if we can help reduce those costs, we're on the right track. And also 50% of healthcare costs relate to dependents, so we really encourage employees to take wellness home, include families in wellness challenges, and providing information to them really takes that home. Another thing to note is these costs do not include the direct costs of sick time, retention issues, morale, or energy levels of employees. There is some good news there. Many chronic conditions are preventable. 80% of type 2 diabetes, 80% of heart disease cases, and 40% of cancers are linked to lifestyle behaviors that can be avoided with some thought and healthy practices and some help with that along the way. So just reflecting on what is a corporate wellness program. Really, wellness programs are just on-site services that first of all identify health-related risks in that population. and then promote and sustain some good employee health, encouraging them to take these habits home. But there are a ton of ways that corporate wellness can be implemented in various companies. It can vary from a really basic lunch and learn every 6 months to a comprehensive program that includes group events, one-on-one coaching, awareness programming, and lots of other things. We're finally seeing that it's coming from a place where it used to be considered a perk to now where companies are starting to understand that it does make good business sense. We know that Canadians aren't healthy. We just saw those statistics. And they're not getting healthier on their own. They need some help. And that's where a wellness program comes into play in a very proactive way. We need to help these individuals lead healthier lifestyles, whether it's about their nutrition or their fitness or their stress, sleep or energy levels. The list goes on with what they could be helped with. We just want to make people make smarter choices with solid information so they can be productive and lead happier and healthier lives, both at work and at home. So our focus is really on outreach. We want to focus on the people that want a wellness program, but we also need to focus on those who need that wellness program. We want to meet them where they are in a respectful way, but make it fun as well as educational. So what kind of programs are out there? EAP is certainly at the top of the list, with 72% of companies offering an EAP program. The flu shot was also mentioned as one of the top things that people offered as part of a wellness program. In fact, some people consider having a flu shot clinic their wellness program. First aid and CPR, 64%, employee recognition, ergonomic workstation assessments. All of these things are listed as part of a wellness program, not necessarily what I would consider, something that everyone needs to include in their wellness program. But they certainly do help. Time off in lieu of overtime, a flexible work program, staff appreciation events, and now we're getting into more of the nuts and bolts of wellness. So a wellness newsletter and nutrition education. But notice it's down farther on the list. Some more offerings include smoking cessation, a fitness subsidy, blood pressure screening, and on-site fitness programs. Again, a little bit lower on the list. And these are higher impact initiatives, but they require greater organizational commitment. Something like the blood pressure clinic or health risk assessments are a little bit lower on that list. And interestingly enough, according to this survey, it was the Buffett National Wellness Survey, only 26% of companies were taking a real strategic approach to improving their employee wellness, which means they might have been, just picking the flavor of the month in order to offer something to their employees, rather than taking a step back and really figuring out what their health risks were in their organization. This list of benefits and objectives are objectives that we have heard from people and about why they want to offer a wellness program. Obviously, it would be the right thing to do for many companies, and that they want to improve the health and wellness of their employees. It certainly improves the culture of a workplace. I've seen that myself. Decrease the costs of health benefits as well as short-term and long-term disability and workman's comp. It helps to improve the productivity and decrease absenteeism, as well as retention and attraction and marketing. It's great for employers to be able to say they have a wellness program to somebody that is looking at working for them. There's also been a lot of surveys and a lot of research done into return on investments for wellness programs. Wellness programs save about 1.5 to 1.7 days in absenteeism per worker over 12 months, or an estimated $251 per year in savings per employee. Harvard University also produced a report that indicated for every $1 spent on wellness programs, medical costs fell about $3.27, and absenteeism costs fell about $2.73. So we're finally getting some information on the Canadian side about return on investment as well. I really like this slide to just illustrate the fact that 20% of employees are generating about 80% of the costs, which means 80% of employees generate only 20% of the costs. So when we look at that, we really want to be aware that we want to focus our efforts on the prevention side, on those healthy, low-risk people or people that are just approaching, being at risk. Not saying that it's too late to start with the people who are already are in the active disease stage, but really you get a bigger bang for your buck by focusing on the lower risk or the prevention side of things. So in listening to that, I just want you to take a moment and think back to your workplace and ask yourself some of these questions. Is there a place for physical activity? It could be outside or it could be inside. Is there a walking trail close by, or have walking routes been outlined so people know where to walk? Sometimes bright vests are available, particularly on busy roads, but are those available? And when the company provides food, what is it? A lot of companies will offer a pizza day every week, or pizza's great, but are we offering some other suggestions? Maybe a thin crust, maybe veggie pizza, those who would prefer that. And what kind of food is accessible at other times? What is in your vending machines? Are donuts brought in regularly? How does the company and leadership team approach stress and change management? Are there flexible work arrangements? Is there a quiet room nearby if somebody needs it? And how big is the smoking area? How much effort has been made on the smoking area? And has more effort been made on that area than maybe even a small workout space? Do people take breaks throughout the day, or are they encouraged to really work through their lunch? How is that considered? Are they off the clock when they leave, or are they constantly in contact? And do you offer any resources for people to get help they need? So those are some questions to ask yourself. Some other ones are just looking at, are your employees at risk? How many people carry excess weight? Do they have high cholesterol or high blood pressure? Does heart disease run in their family? Do they exercise, or do they eat right? Do they have the strategies in place to manage their stress? Do they seem to have lots of energy? And then looking at your demographics, do you have an aging workforce? And what are you doing for those people? So hopefully those questions have really triggered, a few thoughts about what you would like to know about your employees, and just looking at your work environment and what types of things you could offer them. So where do I start? Whoops. We just wanted to go through the components of a successful wellness program. And we certainly have enough successful wellness programs in place to really help you with that. Part of the successful wellness program is senior management support, and I'm going to go through each one of these in the following slides. So senior management support. We really find that without senior management support, a program might fall a little flat. It's amazing to get the senior managers involved and the impact that can have on employees. So not only their involvement helps, but they certainly can improve the budget. They can take a look at what they want to get out of their program in terms of objectives. They can help with department support or people support on wellness committees and that sort of thing. Speaking of wellness committees, another term that we've often called our wellness committee is wellness ambassadors, is really what they are for us. They're people that simply go out into the workplace and encourage people to become involved. They give us feedback. We call it water cooler talk. You know, what's going well, what's not going well, what can we improve? And we meet either bi-monthly or quarterly to go over our past initiatives and then what is coming up. So they're really key in keeping the program going, keeping the excitement there, and eliciting their employees or their colleagues to get involved. The first 30 days is critical for us in really data collecting. So what we try to do is start the program off with a health risk assessment. This is a questionnaire that we ask employees to complete that is absolutely confidential and really asks them all kinds of questions regarding their health. It provides them with their health age and also an individual report that they can look at when they want to make some goals and set some of their own objectives. So we call that a personal wellness profile. What it gives us, or the management team, is a report that outlines what their top 5 health risks are. And that's really key to us when we're looking at program design. We want to really understand what the company is facing. We also do some objective surveys with management as well as the Wellness Committee. And then we look at the matrix for the company. So we ask for information about their health claims and their top 5 drugs, for example, their benefit expenditures, their absenteeism, and really past trends for the company so we can help them look at the numbers in future years and find out what is happening there. We also take a look at the first 30 days of one-on-one consultations just to find out if there's any particular topics that are very popular or seem to be a concern for the employees so that we can address those when we're designing the program. So those 4 areas are really how we pull a program together. In pulling the program together, what we try to look at is how we can engage people in as many ways as possible. Everyone learns in a different way. Everybody can be engaged in a different way. So our program has four areas that we can draw from in how to engage people. And I'll go through each one of these as well. But we have individual programming, group programming, awareness, and virtual. So the one-on-one health coaching is the first one here. What I like to tell people is basically the employer has provided the services of a fitness advisor, a nutrition advisor, a stress and time manager, and lifestyle coach all in one, but most importantly, all at your workplace or at your convenience. These are typically 30-minute one-on-one confidential appointments. And we try to make the desired turnaround time about 4 to 5 weeks, which means that this isn't a one-stop shop. It's not a one-stop meeting. We really want to see these people on an ongoing basis so that we can let them know that, you know what, we're going to hold you accountable to the goals that you're setting out for. We're going to educate you, we're going to motivate you, we're going to be there for you all along your journey. So we've really received some proven results that the behavior modification is most effective working with the individual. I'm sure we've all been to lots of group sessions where we've taken away a lot of fantastic information, got back to our desk and left it on the corner of our desk until, months later when we might look at it. Whereas this way, when you're working with an individual, there's much more chance of you sticking to your plan and staying accountable when you're meeting with someone on an ongoing basis. Our group programs, there's a mile-long list of the examples of group programs that we have done in the past. Pedometer challenges always go over well. Lunch and learns and workshops, we have a list of hundreds really of different topics that we can provide. We've done weight loss programs, work-life balance programs, Nutrition, lots of topics on nutrition, digestive issues, that sort of thing. Stress management. We do a fantastic extreme lifestyle makeover where we talk about a different topic every week, starting with menu planning and grocery shopping and nutrition, and then leading right into cardio and strength training and fitness topics, and then stress and sleep. So that goes over very well. We play a lot of different team challenges. The lifestyle poker game is a fun one, and the sitting disease talk is also a really popular topic right now. On the group exercise side of things, I found that yoga and Pilates have gone over very well, as well as muscle toning classes, stretching or desk stretching. But we've also done lots of more high impact classes like kickboxing or Zumba, step classes, and that's all dependent on the facilities in each organization. Walking and running programs have also gone over very well. So lots of different things to choose from depending on the location and the interests of the employees. Now, awareness programs are also available, and an example of that would be a kiosk. Something like a blood pressure kiosk might be set up with some information about blood pressure, with a blood pressure cuff and a tracking sheet, just as an example of an area where people can go to pick up information. Awareness posters often help. People might glance at a poster even if they're not participating in any other way. Monthly newsletters, health fairs also go over very well with employees. Email campaigns as well as recipe campaigns are also a good way to raise awareness about different health topics in the workplace. We also do things that we call walkarounds, or walkabouts might be another way to describe those, where the consultant walks around the workplace to take information to individuals. So an example of that might be a smoothie or a green tea for this time of year. The consultant will walk around the workplace with a green tea bag, for example, and a little handout about what makes green tea healthy or why they would want to drink it. And what we found that this does is it really opens up the relationship between the on-site wellness consultant and the employee. I found that the more often you see them and sort of chat about their day, all of a sudden they're starting to become more willing to talk to you about a fitness concern or a nutrition question or something like that. So it really opens up the relationship there. And it increases their awareness about different topics they might not have considered asking about, or they might not have considered drinking a green smoothie, for example. It helps us build the engagement within the wellness program, which is critical. Some examples of the walkabouts that we've done: I mentioned smoothies and green tea. Blood pressure checks are another good one, as well as desk stretches, or even a quick ergonomic assessment if we notice that somebody's desk is set up in a way that might bother them. A quick stress assessment and strategies on dealing with stress, serving of almonds, pH tests, healthy hydration tips, or snack suggestions are all other examples of our walkabouts. Program evaluation is a really critical part of our program as well. We want to provide an evaluation to the management team to let them know how the program is doing. What are their participation rates? What feedback is coming from employees? What benefits are people seeing? What's working well? Are the one-on-ones working well? How's the group programs going? Is that fitness class the right one? Our current programming, are they moving towards the set objectives that we'd originally talked to the management team about? Is that happening? And what component is having the biggest impact? individual, the one-on-one consultations, our group programs, or awareness building. So we can provide either a quarterly report, sometimes it's a snapshot monthly report on the one-on-ones and what's going on, or semi-annually where we'll outline the events and the participation rates of everything that we've done. So it's a great way to just stay on top of how well the program is performing. So I'd like to open it up to some questions before I close. If there's any questions that you have in terms of what we've covered today, and I would love to hear from you.
I had a couple that came through, Karen, while we were on that were just personally driven back to that person. So I did answer those for them.
Okay.
I hope the couple people did get the answers. If there are any others right now, you can either just there's a raise your hand button, and what I'll do with that is unmute you, or you can just type one into the chat box. Now, one of the things that I also wanted to point out here is, as you can see, when we're looking at a webinar that's called, building an effective wellness program, when we have a program that's very robust, has a lot of components involved with it, we're relating a lot of the different ways you can build a program back to what we currently offer. Not to say that you can't pick and choose certain components or certain programs that Karen was talking about out of it and implement them themselves. It all goes back to the objectives of what you're looking at. As you can tell, Karen is very knowledgeable about the information, very passionate about wellness, so it comes across in a great way, and that's why we're going to be doing these webinars more on a quarterly basis. Let me just see if there were any questions here. We are just coming right up on the half-hour mark, so we kept it right in perfect timing. Again, somebody invited you to join in the webinar, so again, we welcome the feedback. Please get back in touch with them and let them know what you thought about the webinar, what different topics. You can also email us here at the head office what topics you'd like to hear about. On April 28th and April 30th, as you can see on your screen, Megan Jansen is going to be doing one on how to optimize engagement. So if it's something where you may already have a wellness program and you're looking at, just getting some participation to go a different direction, or whether you're looking at implementing one, what types of components and different tactics can you put in place that would help drive that participation? Because we know if participation is up, the results are going to be there. I'm not seeing any questions come through here. So, oh, there's one. And yes, this has been asked a couple times. We are going to provide the recording out to all the participants. So if you want to share with a colleague in office or share with a colleague in another office, please do so. We also do, as I mentioned at the start, have the exact same webinar going on Thursday morning at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. So if you happen to jump on late for this one, or you know somebody who wasn't able to get on, please forward that on to them and that information in the invite that we sent you as well. Let me see here. Sorry, there was a screen at the beginning of the session listing what is a wellness screen. Could you put that one back up? I was distracted for a moment. Okay, can you maybe scroll back to that one, Karen,
Sure.
if you know which one that is? Julie, can you just let me know if that is the one as she goes back to it?
So what was she looking for, Gar?
Listing of the wellness screen.
Oh, maybe the employee wellness or the personal wellness profile?
Near the start. Okay, so being on the half hour, if you want to stick around and ask a couple more questions, great. I do appreciate your time today. Please get your feedback, as I mentioned, into the person who invited you, because we're looking for new topics to put on. We are going to be having that one in April, and then one probably in August, and then near the later years of the year as well. Okay, so thank you very much for your attendance, and we'll just stick on for a couple more minutes to see if there's any further questions.
Thanks, Garth. I'm not sure what this screen would be that she's talking about.
Okay, what I'll do anyway, Julie, just to let you know, is we're going to send out the recording so you can see it on that once that gets done.